Hi everybody, in this video we are going to discuss about the acquired immunity. Acquired immunity. See here, acquired immunity means when a pathogen enters inside into our body. Okay, we know what is a pathogen. Pathogen means what? Disease causing microorganism. When a pathogen enters inside into the body, when our immune system encounters this particular pathogen for the first time, it produces the antibodies and destroys that particular pathogen. That in that process, okay, in that encounter, this pathogen will get destroyed. This pathogen will get destroyed. When the pathogen gets destroyed, this process we are calling it as what? The primary response. Okay, we call this as the primary response shown by the immune system of our body. It is called as primary response. What is primary response? When a pathogen enters inside the body, our immune system encounters that particular pathogen and destroys that particular pathogen. And this process we are calling it as the primary response. So here, one more point that we have to keep in mind is that when a pathogen enters inside into our body, the severity of that particular disease will be more. Okay, the severity is more. So it may take a long time to cure this particular disease. Okay, to cure from that particular disease. So even then, that we are calling it as what? Primary response. So the pathogen is destroyed now. The pathogen is destroyed. If that same pathogen enters inside into the body second time, how our body will try to attack that or encounter that and destroy that particular pathogen is a question. So here, further, we should remember when the same pathogen enters inside into our body for the second time, we should remember that there are some antibodies which are there turned up as memory cells. These are those cells which fought with that particular pathogen for the first time. When this particular pathogen entered into our body for the first time, it is being destroyed. But in that destruction, some of the antibodies will turn up as what? Memory cells. Okay, they will turn up as memory cells. So here we have to remember a very important thing, that is memory is the characteristic feature of the acquired immunity. Okay, memory is the characteristic feature of the acquired immunity. So here that some of the cells which fought with the pathogen for the first time turn up as memory cells. If that same pathogen enters inside into our body, then that particular pathogen will be destroyed, but this time the severity will not be high. Okay, the disease will not be so severe because already there are inbuilt cells which can recognize easily that pathogen. Why? Because they already fought with that same pathogen. So those are called as what? Memory cells. They will be destroying that pathogen when it enters second time. So when it enters second time, when it is destroyed, that response we call it as what? Secondary response. Okay, secondary response. We call this as secondary response. Okay, we are calling this as the secondary response. So in this secondary response, another term for this is anamnestic response. Okay, anamnestic response we call this as. Okay, anamnestic response. So what is now secondary response? When the same pathogen enters inside into our body, it is being destroyed because of the presence of the memory cells which are formed with the pathogen, with the same pathogen which entered for the first time. That we are calling as secondary response. So here, these are some basic points that we have to keep in mind when we are talking about the acquired immunity. Acquired immunity can be of two types. Acquired immunity can be of two types. One, we call it as humoral immune response. Humoral immune response, which are very important for objective part also. Humoral immune response means what? Antibodies that are found in the blood. Antibodies that are found in the blood. So here we are using that, we are understanding, okay, we are learning that the antibodies are present in the blood. So because they are present in the blood, which is what? A fluid. Blood is a fluid. So that's why we should remember that we are using the word humoral. Okay, humoral means fluid. Okay, humoral means fluid. So antibodies that are there present in our body, okay, are circulating in the blood. Are circulating in the blood, identifying different types of pathogens and destroying them before they can cause severe damage or disease. So that we are calling as what? Humoral immune response, which is one type of what? Acquired immunity. Acquired immunity. We are acquiring this. We are acquiring the immunity even after, even after when we are acquiring this, when we are encountering the disease causing pathogen. Okay, when we are encountering the disease causing pathogen. And the next one is cell mediated immune response. Cell mediated immune response we are seeing. See, the word itself tells us here cell mediated immune response. Cell mediated means what here? Directly the cells are participating. Directly the immune system is producing the cells which go and fight against that particular pathogen. Immediately they go identify that particular pathogen and destroy that particular pathogen. That's why we are calling it as cell-mediated immune response. Cell-mediated immune response. This is the second type of acquired immunity. Second type of acquired immunity. So what we should remember? This is cell-mediated immunity in which cells are participating in the process of destroying the microbe, and it is one type of acquired immunity. Remember, which cells are participating in this cell-mediated immunity? We have to remember that they are the T lymphocytes. Okay, they are the T lymphocytes. So T lymphocytes are the major cells which will be fighting against what? The pathogen. The pathogen. And here is a question, a very important question, that during transplantation, what do you mean by transplantation? When a person is suffering with severe disease, there are chances that their heart may not be working properly, their eyes may not be working properly, their liver may not be working properly, or the kidneys are not working properly, and in severe cases, they have to go for what? Organ transplantation. Organ transplantation, which means they have to go for organ, like heart transplantation, either from an animal or primates or any other person, it can be. But most of the cases, it is being rejected. Why it is rejected? When a person, he or she, wanted to go for organ transplantation of the heart, okay, organ transplantation of heart or eye or liver, okay, or even kidney. In these cases, most of the times we will be hearing that organ transplantation is failed. Why it fails? It is depending upon the acquired immunity. It depends upon the acquired immunity. During the grafting process, means when a donor is giving an organ to a particular person, our immune system will reject it. That we call it as graft rejection. We call it as graft rejection. Okay. See, our body, our acquired immunity, our immune system has the ability to identify self cells from the non-self cells. Non-self cells means what? They are the pathogens. Our immune system is having that ability. Okay, these are our own body cells. These are the microbes which are entering into our body. It has that ability. But in some cases, what happens during the organ transplantation is that it cannot identify these. Okay, heart, eye, or liver, or kidney during the organ transplantation, during the grafting. So, which is that? Okay, which is that immunity, acquired immunity, participating in rejecting this organ transplantation? This is a very, very important point and a question. Name the immunity or acquired immunity which is involved in rejecting the organ transplantation. That answer is cell-mediated immunity. Please remember this. Cell-mediated immunity is very, very important. Okay, cell-mediated immunity is very important, which participates or which will be recognized in self and non-self cells and helping in graft rejection. So this will be playing a crucial role. Okay, this will be playing a crucial role. Then how is it possible for graft transplantation? Please remember, he or she who is going for organ transplantation, they have to go for treatment either lifelong or for a particular period of time, taking immunosuppressants. These immunosuppressants are a type of drugs, okay, which are given for that particular patient who goes for organ transplantation. When he or she has to take these drugs, immunosuppressants, so that their immune power will be suppressed, so that this cell-mediated immunity will not recognize these as the foreign cells, non-self cells, and destroy them. So they have to continuously go for what? Immunosuppressant. They have to take regularly immunosuppressants so that these organs which are transplanted from others will not be rejected by identified by the cell-mediated immunity. immunity. These are the points we should remember when we are talking about the acquired immunity, especially about humoral immune response and cell-mediated immune response.